Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nobody, and we are finally back in the Untrained Unprofessional Garage. Yeah, I know it's been a while. I'm so sorry. I've been distracted with the new channel that I've been doing, which is called From Concealed. Um, Drawing and practicing from concealment has been a priority for me lately. And yeah, I'm sorry that I haven't been paying attention to you as much as I should be. So, my apologies. But because of From Concealed, that actually brings me here today because I'm actually wondering if I'm doing something correctly. And that has everything to do with you unload your carry ammo, you practice with your regular range ammo, and then you load your carry ammo back into your pistol. And if you're training a couple times a month, so 26 times a year, well, what does that do to said carry round? I don't know. I kind of figure that if you load from a magazine, then as it goes up the ramp, it's probably going to compress that projectile into the case. And you do that enough, when do you swap that round out and put a fresh one in? What if you just drop it in to your chamber and then let the slide go forward? Would that extend the life of your rounds so that you can not have to swap it out as soon as possible, if that makes sense? That's what my mind has been thinking. So I decided to do an experiment. I have my 43X. I've actually removed the firing pin assembly, so everything should be safe. Taking my own personal critical duty 124 grain, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it into the chamber 26 times and let the slide go forward. And every 5 times, I'm going to measure the overall length of the cartridge and just see what happens. I already have my starting measurements, and then every 5 times I'll take another measurement, except for the very last go, that'll be on 6. And then what I'll do is I'll take a different cartridge that has not been chambered, still 124 grain critical duty, put it in a magazine 26 times. Every 5 times I will measure it just like before and see what the difference is. Now, I have been, to be honest with you, just dropping it in and letting the slide go forward. But we'll see if that's the best way or not, because in my mind, coming out of the magazine, going up the feed ramp, hitting that feed ramp tells me, or I think it would actually compress the round a little bit farther back. At least that's just my thought process, but I don't know. I don't know 100%. So I'll do that with my 124 grain critical duty. I also have some Hornady Subsonic 147 grain, Winchester 147 grain Defenders. I'm also going to use some Critical Defense 115 grains. All right, so I got to tell you that I was wrong on how I should be loading my gun up. The way that I thought dropping the cartridge into the chamber and letting the slide go forward is actually worse than if you put it on or in the magazine and let the slide go forward. And I think what's going on, if you ever put a new handle on a hammer, how you do it, you put it on and you don't just smack it down, you actually hit the handle side, and that actually draws it up. And I think that same principle is applying if you drop the round into the chamber. At least it's the only thing that makes sense to me. And the numbers seem to be fairly consistent all the way across on the 4 rounds that I tried. So like on my critical duty, what I actually carry, dropping it into the chamber lost 20 thousandths. I started at 1 in 155 thousandths, and I ended at 1 in 135 thousandths. So I lost 20 thousandths. Now on the magazine, starting at the exact same 1 in 155 thousandths, I ended at 1 in 157 thousandths. Now, little disclaimer here. On the critical duty, you do have these little tips. It is possible that the tip could have smashed in just a little bit, causing it to bulge. But looking at the projectile and comparing them side by side, I can visibly see that the bullet is higher than the one that I was just dropping in. And the data for the Winchester and the Hornady subsonics would support that. So the Hornady subs, which the one I dropped in the chamber started at 1 and 54 thousandths, and it ended after 26 times 1 and 32 thousandths. So I lost 22 thousandths on that one. The magazine starting at 1 and 55 thousandths ended at 1 and 50 thousandths. So it only lost 5 thousandths of an inch just loading it off of the mag. Winchester 124 grain. Actually, sorry, I was doing the 147s. Starting, just dropping in, started at 1 and 114 thousandths, and it ended after 26 times at 1 and 87 thousandths. So I lost 27 thousandths dropping it into the chamber. And going from the mag, started at 1 and 112 thousandths and ended at 1 and 111 thousandths. So I only lost a thousandth of an inch on that one. Hornady Critical Defense, 115 grain. Started dropping in the chamber at 1 and 87 thousandths and ended at 1 and 69 thousandths. So they lost 18 thousandths of an inch on that after 26 drops. Going from the mag, started at new round 1 and 91 thousandths, ended at 1 and 92 thousandths. Okay, so here's the disclaimer on the Critical Defense. Again, it's a polymer tip. One of the things that I noticed is that I actually grew to 1 and 98 thousandths, and then it kind of went back to 95 thousandths, up to 97th, down to 92. The tip actually, when it was chambering, actually pushes in, and so it makes that polymer tip kind of grow. However, that tip being kind of smashed down is about the same height as the one that I was dropping, but it's also been smashed down. So I don't have a really good way to measure this with like a comparator or anything. So this is kind of the asterisk in the group, but it appears that the one off the mag seems a little bit higher. Not off the polymer tip, just off of where this angle starts, so above the case. But that's very subjective, it's not firm. So, that being said, I would say loading off your mag is the way to go. Yeah, that's it. Oh, by the way, if you've been waiting for me to do long range, here's my long range build. That's all you get to know about it right now.